Hey, what's up? It's Nathan here with thebtccourse.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to buy, sell, send, and receive Bitcoin using the Strike app. Now, Strike is a Bitcoin-only company, so you can't buy any other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin on Strike. So if you're interested in buying Bitcoin, this might be a good app for you because they do have little to no fees and little to no spread on their Bitcoin. So it's a very good option. Also, they support the Lightning Network, so if you're interested in getting on the Lightning Network, and they also do on-chain transactions as well. And they also have a cash account and a Bitcoin account. And the cash account has some pretty nifty features that I'll point out later on in this video. We'll start on the Bitcoin side of things, but you can do cash and Bitcoin. And more recently, they've actually developed their own infrastructure. So instead of relying on third parties to custody the Bitcoin on their behalf or cash or fiat on their behalf, like they're doing it themselves. So you can pause the video and read this email if you want to learn more about it. But yeah, so this is an awesome thing. It eliminates some of the counterparty risk where you're just dependent on Strike and you're not dependent on Strike's, counterparties as well. So that's not to say you should store a lot of Bitcoin on Strike. You should definitely self-custody your own Bitcoin, but they are taking their own internal steps to remove as much of that counterparty risk as possible. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into buying, selling, sending, and receiving Bitcoin. So here we are inside of the Strike app, and of course you can just go to the App Store and download it, sign up. I have a link in the description down below if you want to go through my affiliate link. I think we both get $5 or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Bitcoin side of things. So we'll switch over here. And for the most part, this is some pretty self-explanatory stuff. This isn't some advanced trading tool or anything like that, but we'll go ahead and walk through it. So here we are. You can see at the top, we have my Bitcoin balance currently stored on Strike. And then we have a nice chart right here that we can look at, and Bitcoin's having a decent day, so that's kind of nice. We can buy, sell. I can see my daily recurring purchase right there, and then also the options to request Bitcoin or to send it out of your Strike wallet. So we're going to go through all these features real quick in this video. So let's go ahead and start with buy. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on buy. And then up here in the top right, there's some options. So we can go ahead and select our frequency. So if you want to go ahead and set up a dollar cost averaging or daily buy or hourly buy, you could go ahead and select that option right here. So I'm just going to do a one-time purchase for this demonstration, but as you saw previously, like 30 seconds ago, I also have a daily buy going on as well. So you can have dollar cost averaging set up for you automatically. And then, so I'm going to buy $10 worth of Bitcoin right now, and I have cash already transferred from my bank account into my Strike account, so I have a cash balance currently sitting on Strike. But if you don't have a cash balance, you could go ahead and tap in there, and you could go direct from your bank account and make the purchase. So you don't need to load cash into Strike and then use that cash account to buy Bitcoin. You can just go straight from your bank account into buying Bitcoin. So just something to note. And one other thing that I really like about Strike is that it allows you to do direct deposits as well. So if you have a fiat job and you can set up like an allotment or something like that, that would automatically send part of your paycheck to Strike. They gave you an account and routing number, so you could send, X number of dollars every paycheck into your Strike account and then kind of preload your cash balance there if you want to do that. So pretty nifty stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and just use my cash balance, and I'll go ahead and close out of this window. All right, and then all we have to do is tap on next, and there's a summary of my order. So you can see that there's no fees on Strike, which is kind of nice, but they do have a little bit of a spread. So the current price of Bitcoin is about $26,180. So that's the spread right now. Is about $120, $130 difference, which is probably less than 1%. But anyway, that's the amount of Bitcoin I'll receive, and I can go ahead and tap on confirm. And my request expired because I'm sitting here talking, so I'll hit confirm again. And there we go, purchase successful, and okay. So now my Bitcoin balance has, of course, increased that 0.0003 Bitcoin or whatever it was. All right, so again, pretty self-explanatory, but there is the recurring option as well. You can set that up. Now selling, if we tap right there, is also pretty self-explanatory. So I can go ahead and tap on, $10 worth of Bitcoin, next. and then it gives me the price that I'm selling for. So there's the spread there. Again, it's about $26,180 right now. So there's a little bit of a spread. Again, probably less than 1% and no additional fees. And that's the amount of Bitcoin that I'll be selling for that $10. Now, I'm not going to actually sell my Bitcoin because I want to keep it, but it's pretty self-explanatory, and I think you can understand the concept there. All right, so let's go down to request real quick. So you could go ahead and request Bitcoin from Lightning or from on-chain Bitcoin and produce a QR code. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that real quick, and we'll take a look at it. So let's say that I want to request 0.0001 Bitcoin, which is about $2.62. I'll tap on next. So it gives me a couple options right here. So it gives me a Lightning invoice first. So if I want to pay a Lightning invoice or have somebody else pay a Lightning invoice, I have this right there. And I could actually tap on it and it'll copy the invoice to my clipboard. So then it would give me like a string of numbers, and I could email that string of numbers to somebody or something like that. So I could, send them a QR code, or, it's on my phone, so they could scan their phone on my phone and send me the Bitcoin if they want to. Or I could send them, the text format of that Lightning invoice, and somebody else could paste it into their wallet. Or if I want to do an on-chain transaction, so maybe I'm sending from cold storage onto Strike because I want to go ahead and sell my Bitcoin or something like that, or use the Lightning Network with my Bitcoin. Well, then I would go ahead and send to this QR code, or again, I could tap it and it would copy the on-chain Bitcoin address to my clipboard, and then I could go ahead and plug that into a wallet and send Bitcoin directly into my Strike account, or I could go ahead and sell it, or whatever it is that I want to do. So that's how you can go ahead and receive Bitcoin into your Strike account. And let me tap into request again real quick. We also have the option to request Bitcoin from a Strike user. So if somebody has the Strike app, you could go ahead and request Bitcoin directly from them through Strike instead of going through like Bitcoin and doing a Lightning invoice or an on-chain transaction. You could go ahead and just send it from one Strike account to another Strike account. So that could be useful if you're interacting with somebody with a Strike account. But I'm not doing that right now, just showing you that feature. Alrighty, so now we get into send. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that option, and we see similar things. We have QR code. So if we want to go ahead and scan a Lightning QR code or a Bitcoin QR code, like an on-chain Bitcoin address, we could go ahead and select that option. And then we also have the option for sending to a Strike account. So there's that option there. But let's go ahead and do the QR code option right now. And we're going to go ahead and pay a Lightning invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. All right, so now it's looking for a Lightning request or a Bitcoin address to send from your Bitcoin balance. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a QR code. And so here we are in Geyser, which is a fundraising website that uses Bitcoin. So I'm going to go ahead and find a program or a project that I want to go ahead and donate funds to. So let's come on down here. So BTC Sessions, I've watched a lot of his content. He produces really good stuff. So let's say that I want to go ahead and send him some Bitcoin. And just go ahead and tap on contribute, and let's say that I want to give him $5 and then fund project. So it's going to generate an invoice, and so there it is right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab my phone, and I'm going to go over there and scan that QR code, and there we go. So I'm sending that much Bitcoin to that address. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on confirm, and they're waiting for the payment, and there we go. Payment successful. Successful contribution to BTC Sessions Bitcoin Education for the Masses. So I sent him 19,280 sats, which is about $5 worth of Bitcoin, and it came out of my Bitcoin wallet or my Bitcoin balance on the Strike app. So that's how you can go ahead and send Bitcoin over the Lightning Network from Strike. Now let's say that you saved up some Bitcoin on your Strike app, and now you want to go ahead and send it over to cold storage. So we'll go through that process right now. So again, we're going to go ahead and tap on send, and we're going to do a QR code again. And so you notice that it says you can scan a Lightning request or a Bitcoin address to send from your Bitcoin balance. So here I am in my cold storage wallet. I'm using Sparrow Wallet and a Cold Card. I have links in the description down below if you want to learn more about Sparrow Wallet or Cold Card. But anyway, for demonstration purposes, I want to go ahead and receive Bitcoin onto my Cold Card. So I'm going to go ahead and I could copy this address and then email it to myself and then paste it with this paste button down here on my phone. So I could do something like that, or Sparrow Wallet does generate a nice QR code for me, so I can go ahead and scan that QR code, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do. So scan QR code, and then how much Bitcoin I want to go ahead and send to cold storage. So I'm going to do 0.001, so about $2.62 worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to do next. Now, normally I would not send this small of an amount across the blockchain because fees are going to be significant compared to the amount I'm sending. Normally, I would save up at least $1,000 worth of Bitcoin before I do an on-chain transaction because it creates a UTXO every time you do an on-chain transaction. If you have a bunch of UTXOs, you could wind up paying a lot of money in fees, and I'm going to leave it at that. I have a video that explains UTXOs in the description down below, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to send just a small amount, but in real life, I wait till I have at least $1,000 worth of Bitcoin before I send it out of my Strike app into cold storage. And now it gives me the option to select my delivery time, so I'm just going to go ahead and do standard, which is only 3 cents at this point in time, and then I'll do next. And so it gives me a summary of my transaction. So I'm going to send that much Bitcoin to that address. These are my fees and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on confirm. And okay. So it's going to go ahead and send that Bitcoin to my cold storage. And so that's how to buy, sell, send, and receive Bitcoin. Now I want to talk to you about the cash side because it has some pretty nifty features. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on cash right here. And so you can see that I have a cash balance in my account. And we kind of saw that on the Bitcoin side where I could go ahead and buy Bitcoin from a cash balance or direct from my bank account. So if you have a cash balance, you can do some other things with it. So we could go ahead and request cash. So if I type on request right here, I could go ahead and request cash from a Lightning or a Bitcoin wallet. So let's just do Lightning wallet for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to tap on that. And so I could go ahead and request, let's say like $10 worth of cash. So you notice on the cash side that it's in dollars, whereas on the Bitcoin side, all the amounts were in Bitcoin denomination. So let's say that I want to request $10 and I'll do next. All right, so it gives me this QR code right here that I could have somebody pay. And now what's really cool about this is when somebody pays this Lightning invoice with Bitcoin, it'll automatically convert to cash in my Strike account. So I'm going to go ahead and actually tap on this QR code real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to another Lightning wallet that I have. And now it's asking me if I want to allow pasting, so I do. And so I'm going to go ahead and tap on this little clipboard up here to paste the invoice. So it's asking me for 38,000 sats right there, which is about $10. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on pay this invoice. And it's sending the transaction and it's successfully sent already. So let me switch back over to Strike. And there we go. I received $10. So that's pretty cool, right? On the cash side, if you do an invoice or a request for dollars and you send Bitcoin to that request, you'll receive dollars into your account. And so I hope that makes sense and that I'm demonstrating it well. And also under the request option, we could go ahead and request cash from a Strike user. Now, one thing that's pretty cool about this is that it kind of operates as like a Venmo because you're sending cash back and forth, but it uses the Lightning Network as like the in-between. And what that means is that what it'll do is it'll take your US dollars, convert them to Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, zap across the network, and then wind up in somebody else's account as cash. And that cash on the other side could be US dollars, or it could be like pounds or euros or some other currency that the other person's Strike account is in. So it'll automatically convert from one currency to another, and it can really help out with those cross-border payments and transactions. And the user doesn't even know that they're using the Bitcoin network to do this. All they do is know that cash left their Strike account and then cash showed up in somebody else's Strike account. So pretty nifty stuff if you're doing cross-border transactions or you want to get away from Venmo and you want to support the Lightning Network or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and X out of this right there. Now send has some similar features as request. So when we're sending, we can scan a QR code and we're going to convert our cash to Bitcoin and we can send it over the Lightning Network or on-chain transaction. So in this case, let me go back to Geyser real quick. And here's another project that I want to go ahead and donate to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on contribute here. And let's just say I want to send $5 worth of Bitcoin. And I'll go ahead and fund the project. It's going to generate that Lightning invoice again. But this time I'm on the cash side of Strike. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on send and then QR code. It loads up my camera here, and then I want to scan that QR code. And so now I'm sending out of my cash account to pay this Lightning invoice. So it doesn't come out of my Bitcoin account, it comes out of my cash account, and it'll zap across the Lightning Network and wind up in this person's account as Bitcoin. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on confirm, and it's going to go ahead and pay that transaction, and there we go. So I sent them $5 as well. So hopefully you see how that's working, and maybe you think it's pretty cool that you can have both a cash balance, that's steady in cash, and then you could have a Bitcoin account that's, steady in Bitcoin. But you can basically move between the two very easily and seamlessly. So I think that's pretty cool stuff, and something that's unique to the Strike app that I haven't seen in any other Bitcoin/Lightning wallets or exchanges personally. Now I'm going to come back to send real quick. So you can also send globally. So they support a bunch of different countries where basically you can send from your Strike account direct into a bank account of one of these countries right here. So if you have people that you're trying to send money to in these countries, and they're adding more countries all the time, well, Strike might be a good option where it does cross-border payments across the Lightning Network, little to no fees, and so on. So just something to think about or look at possibly if you're going cross-border payments. And of course, you could go ahead and send to a Strike user. And so again, that'd be sending, cash from your account, and let's say it's US dollars, and you send it to somebody in the UK, and it automatically gets converted into pounds when it arrives in their account, and it happens seamlessly across the Lightning Network. So again, pretty nifty stuff. Deposit, so if you want to go ahead and top up your cash balance, you could go ahead and just pull it from your bank account. So simple explanation right there. And then withdrawal. So if you have a significant cash balance that you want to withdraw to your bank account, you can go ahead and do so right there. So pretty self-explanatory. And that pretty much covers all the functions and features within Strike. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, I also have a project listed up here on Geyser, and I appreciate any sort of contribution that you may be willing to make. Otherwise, please go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.